The Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, was created in November 2001 in response to the events of September 11th. It's the TSA that creates rules about what can and cannot go on flights. One item that can't be carried on a flight, a gun. But that's not stopped passengers from trying at a higher rate than ever. More now in a News 9 special assignment.
What we're seeing is an increase in the number of firearms per number of passengers. So what we have seen is since the start of the pandemic, we've seen an increase in the rate of guns.
An increase in the rate of guns picked up by the TSA, despite the massive decrease in passengers. Nationwide, the rate of gun seizures has doubled, says TSA spokeswoman Lisa Farbstein. In 2019, pre-pandemic, the TSA found 5 guns per million passengers. Since the start of the pandemic, it's up to 10 guns per million passengers, all while passenger numbers have been down 60 to 90%.
Many of these guns are loaded. The most common excuse that we hear is that I forgot I had my firearm with me.
But that excuse doesn't fly, right? That's not something, you can't feign ignorance when it comes to having a firearm, especially a loaded one, on an airplane.
When you take into consideration the fact that the vast majority of them are loaded, we're hearing people say, I forgot I had a loaded gun with me. You know, if you own a firearm, you just need to know where it is at all times.
The Pittsburgh International Airport certainly not exempt from the issue, despite averaging about a third of pre-pandemic passengers per day. Look at the numbers from 2017 onward. 32 guns seized by TSA in 2017, 34 in 2018, and 35 in 2019. In 2020, with a huge decrease in passengers due to the pandemic, 21 guns were seized. We're just 4 months into 2021, and there have already been 11 firearms taken, including one on the morning of our interview with Matt Nystein of the Allegheny County Airport Authority. Is that worrisome? Is that a worrisome trend?
It's certainly not something we like seeing, but we trust that TSA will address that and do the best they can to keep the airports and flights safe.
As for the role the airport itself plays in stopping weapons from getting on planes, well, it doesn't have much of one.
We leave that to them. We work with them as a partner and trust them to make the best decisions for security.
But when it comes to any criminal charges, 2 bodies do work together, the TSA and the police.
TSA reserves the right to issue a civil citation to somebody, and that can run into the thousands of dollars. It's up to the police whether they make an arrest, whether they issue a citation, or whether they let somebody go.
Lisa Farbstein, who we featured in that story, shared some of the crazier things found by TSA across the country in just the last couple of months. Here, throwing stars, including some shaped like Batman. These were found in Albany, New York. Believe it or not, multiple comb knife combinations like this one have been seized. This pack of bows and arrows was taken in Des Moines, Iowa. And finally, this was shared as a warning on April 20th. It looks like a grenade, but it's actually a marijuana grinder, just another item you can't take on a plane. It is important to note that if you do want to take a gun or another weapon on the plane, they have to be checked. You should call ahead and talk with your airline if you do plan on bringing a weapon with you.